Schumacher needs to focus on his personal life. Even a couple of days ago, he said that he doesn't advise anybody to go to Red Bull. I wonder if Red Bull, he asked maybe one of the owners of Red Bull on a date and they said no. Anyway, Max needs someone to lean on, and without Marco, that figure is missing. Now, Max's dad, Verstappen, says it's all nonsense. Max is a grown man. He doesn't need a fatherly friend to tell him how to drive or handle the team. Max just needs a fast car.
Ralph Schumacher, what's he talking there? I don't understand. You know, he should go and win. He should have won a one or two world championships. Then he can really talk and then say stuff like that. Especially I like what even what Josh said, because if Max needs a father figure, he was quite insulted by that. Or felt like like not being regarded properly. And then Helmut Marko has actually done his job. I mean, his guy's 82 years old. Expects an 82-year-old man to really, really, really give advice on this new. I mean, the guy is old. I'm not saying that he's redundant, but I mean, I think he himself he knew that he had to step back. Because he has done it to the new people and stuff like that. And Ralph Schumacher, I think he's just trying to look for a topic
Story.
to be, yes, to be relevant, because he shouldn't be. I mean, he should be taking advice from even from Verstappen, asking Verstappen, how did you do it? That's what he should be. He should be actually praising. He shouldn't be going against and talking against. That's what I think. I mean, you should.
Yeah. But that would have been when Max Verstappen was 17 years old, or he was also with Vettel when Vettel was 16 or 17. But by the time you're 27 years old, you're a maximal driver. The only thing that Helmut Marko was good for that team was for PR and like Josh Verstappen said, in the hangar, or not in the hangar, in the paddock and in the garage, he's fun to talk to and everything. But at the end of the day, about father figures, it has to do with the fact that they're not producing a good car, and also probably that if there is chaos in that team, it's that they don't have the right interface between the the
Electric and then the mechanic.
developed fantastic engine this year. When we saw, remember, I followed up during the testing early. I said, "Man, this engine is fantastic. This car is going to be great." But the problem is that the engine is not in harmony with the chassis, and the car is overweight because it has electrical problems which make it. But that's a technical issue. It has nothing to do with Helmut Marko and Ralph Schumacher. He's he's beginning to make us question if he knows anything about Formula One. I know he does because he's like you said, he's just telling these stories to get through the news cycle.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think I'm all in it. I agree with Jos Verstappen. Basically, it's all nonsense. Max Verstappen has enough experience on the track to know what is good for him. First and foremost, I mean, he has his own identity. People can't just be throwing him around and telling him what to do after all his achievements in F1. So, I mean, he doesn't need a fatherly friend to tell him how to drive. He knows how to drive. I mean, he's a world champion without a doubt. So how to handle the team is his own prerogative. I think this Ralph Schumacher, I don't know, he always try from my research, he always likes to do some kind of armchair psychology, like some kind of
Yeah.
legend that can dictate to, anybody just how to live his life. Basically, I agree with what his father said. Max is a professional cold-blooded racer who doesn't need emotional management. He just needs a supercar. That's all.
To tell people, oh, don't go to Red Bull, go else. Where else do you want them to go to? Aston Martin? You want them to go to who else? How can I not?
Um,
Alpine. You want them to go to
yeah,
Alpine? Schumacher makes statements without being analytical. Like I said, I doubt that his analytical perspective when he's a commentator. Probably in the back of the paddock, he's like, "Yes, I believe you could do this." But when he comes out to speak on the mic, he just wants to make a hot mic statement so that we can have something to talk about on our show today.
where he's getting the idea that Verstappen is having a problem or emotional problem or having problem. I don't know where he's getting that data from.
He's frustrated with the car, and also they said that Max dismissed one of the. Did you hear? He dismissed one of the reporters from the room and refused to do the interview until they kicked that reporter out because the reporter said something he didn't like. So maybe
Can imagine why Verstappen will be upset about that, because I'm sure the person was asking a question like what Ralph
Yeah,
is talking about,
yeah. Hmm.
going somewhere else to just fetch one kind of argument or one depends to just go away because you're going to make me upset,
Hmm.
or I go away, because where you reaching that from? Where you getting that
And
from?
also,
Yes,
I agree. I agree that it's inappropriate for him to do that because there's rules as a driver. You can't do that. But that doesn't
but
mean that he now needs a fatherly figure to drive. It's for him. It's not a distraction. Hamilton doesn't need a father figure, so why does Verstappen? Go ahead. Sorry, Mr. Johnny.
yeah. I mean, I wonder how emotional he would be. I'm talking about Ralph. If he was driving in a car that used to win and then now it's not performing. It's a normal thing. That's human nature. You get a
And
bit,
also new regs, these rubbish
new
regs.
regs again. Yeah, there you go again too. So he's just
Yeah, so basically, I think what even surprises me the most is the fact that he can be specifically mentioning emotional struggle. I mean, Max has never been one to be fragile mentally or emotionally. If for anything, I think he's a mentality monster, basically. So I'm even really surprised. And if he has not been in sync with his team over the years, especially this last season that just ended, I mean, he wouldn't have been so successful relative to that season. So, like his father said, he's a grown man. He doesn't really need a fatherly friend. He gives good technical feedback when it is required, and that is enough to make him continue winning. If for any reason this season he hasn't hit the ground running, then it's because of the inferiority of the car and not the mentality or the emotional conditioning of the driver. So this is rubbish. I just agree with Joss. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why is he targeting his emotional conditioning? It doesn't make sense to me, really.